everyone. Thank you so much for joining with this session on Microsoft Teams. Today we are guided for the step number 3, and this is the virtual cultural exchange fair of our intercultural competence course. Our goal today is to analyze the intersection between language and culture through our select countries. Quick reminders for the recording is number 1, please keep your cameras on all of the times. Number 2, we will have 5 and 7 minutes per presentation, followed also by the brief questions and answers. The presentation in order will be India with myself, Carlos, Japan, Luz Clairet with Mexico, Luisa with French, and finally Johan with Korea. So let's start, guys. I'm going to share my screen, so let me a moment. Okay. This is my presentation, and today I'm excited to present my contribution to our virtual cultural exchange fair. I will be focusing on Indian culture and the Indian language, exploring how this millennium heritage can transform the way we teach and also learn languages. Okay, first of all, I want to say that India is not just a country. This is a millennium mosaic, as we can see in this slide, because it is characterized by spiritual depth and vibrant festivities. I firmly believe in the quote that says learning a language also means understanding the soul of the culture behind it. By integrating Indian tradition, and we provide us a much more meaningful context for our students. Okay, so in this case, what does this work in a classroom? I think that is because of the emotional connection. Most of the students are already familiar with yoga, for example, Bollywood or Indian food. When we use content that the student find attractive or familiar, their motivation and participation increase significantly and learning to better long-term retention of the language. Now, let's take a specific example. This is a Diwali because it is the festival of lights. It's more than just a party because it represents the victory of light over darkness and knowledge over ignorance. In a LELT classroom, we can use these symbols to explore metaphors and also help students express complex spiritual and social values in a second language, of course. In this case, it is crucial to move beyond stereotypes because India is home to 22 major languages and a mix of ancient and modern lifestyles. By showing this diversity, we help to our students develop global awareness and respect for different worldviews, which is the core of intercultural competence. Now, here it's about culture deeply shapes in how we speak. In India, the concept of iti devo bhav, the guest is good, as and social hierarchy influence politeness strategies. Understanding these nuances, like when to be formal or to be informal in English, is what truly allows a learner to communicate it appropriately in real world because we have multicultural context. In this case, here before to finish with my presentation, I have a question. Why in this is the integration is so important? Because I think that it prepares students for the real world. It promotes also empathy, encourages critical thinking, and through cultural comparison, and also makes the learning process authentic. We are not just teaching grammar, and we are building bridge between cultures. And guys, okay, to conclude with my presentation, and I think that teaching through Indian culture goes beyond vocabulary because it created a space where students connect emotionally with the world's diversity. This approach transforms our classrooms into dynamic space for global citizenship. And that's all for my presentation. Thank you so much for your attention. So in this case, we have some space that for answers. So guys, you can start.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. That was very nice. My question is, how do you think Indian festival like Diwali can specifically help students who have never been to Asia to stay motivated?
Okay, thank you so much, Luisa. And I think that that's a great question because I believe that festival work because they are visually stunning and full of universal values like hope and light. By using Diwali as a topic, students connect emotionally with the content, which reduce maybe their anxiety and makes the English language a tool to explore something beautiful and also exciting.
Okay, I have a question for you. Do you mention English? Do you think it's a good idea to show this language messages to our students in a LT classroom?
Yes, of course, because showing in English helps students to understand that English is a global language and that change depending of the culture because it teaches them about linguistic and flexibility and prepares them for the real world communication where they will meet with the people and with different accents and backgrounds.
I have questions. Can you explain more about how the concept of the gas is God affects the way people communicate in English in India?
Of course, and because this concept, I think Devo Baba, it makes communication very polite and formal. In a ELT classroom, we can teach this to show a student that speaking a language is not just about grammar, and but about it's like a social etiquette because it helps them to develop intercultural communicative competence by learning how to be respectful in different cultures.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Julie, I have a question for you. How can we avoid falling into stereotypes when teaching about us culture as diverse as Indians?
Okay, Andres, I think that the key is to show the danger of a single story because we must present both traditional India and modern and technological India by showing that India is home to many religions and 22 major languages. And also we teach our students that diversity is complex, obviously, and helping them avoid oversimplifications. Okay, guys, so that's all. We can continue with the other classmates.
Okay, me.
Yes, okay, Andres.
Okay, let me share my screen. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Today I will present an exploration of Japanese culture and language focusing on its importance, intercultural competence, and English language teaching. Mm, Introduction exploring Japanese culture. I select Japanese culture because it is highly engaging for students, especially due to the popularity of anime, manga, and technology. Additionally, it promotes cultural diversity and supports language learning objectives by connecting language with realized cultural contexts. Mm, Japan is a country located in East Asia, known for combining innovation. This unique balance makes it an interesting and valuable cultural to explore in the classroom. Key cultural practice. Tea ceremony. The tea ceremony, known as Shanoyu, is not only about drinking tea, but also about creating a meaningful experience. It is deeply influenced by Zen Buddhism, where every moment is careful planned to promote mindfulness. The host prepares matcha with precision, and guests follow a specific etiquette, showing respect and appreciation. This practice reflects important Japanese values such as harmony, respect, purity, and tranquility, turning a simple act into a spiritual and cultural ritual. Bowen or ohiji is a key element of Japanese communication and social interaction. It varies in depth and duration depending on the situation, such as greeting, apologizing, or showing gratitude. A slight bow is used in casual situations, while a deeper bow expresses greater respect or apologize. This gesture reflects the importance on hierarchy and social roles in Japanese culture, helping maintain politeness and mutual respect in both personal and professional contexts. Festivals, Matsuri. Japanese festivals known as Matsuri are lively events that celebrate religious traditions, seasonal change, and local cultures. Many festivals are connected to Shinto shrines or Buddhist temples, and they often include traditional music, dance, food, mm, food style, and parades with portable shrines, mikoshi. This celebration strengthens community bonds and preserve cultural heritage, while also attracting tourists and showcasing regional identities across Japan. Group harmony or wa is a fundamental concept in Japanese society that emphasizes cooperation, respect, and social balance. People are encouraged to avoid conflict and prioritize the needs of the group over individual desires. This value is reflected in workplace, schools, and daily interactions where teamwork and consensus are highly valued. Maintaining harmony helps create a peaceful and organized society, even if it sometimes requires personal sacrifice or indirect communication. Cultural practice and consent. Japanese cultural practice are strongly based on respect and social harmony. It is also common to remove shouts before entering a house, and punctuality is highly valued. Respect is one of the most important values in Japanese society. Traditional dance are an important part of Japanese culture, especially during festivals known as Matsuri, or one example is Bon Odori, a dance performed during summer festival to honor ancestors. This dance involves simple and repetitive movement, group participation, and traditional clothing. They are not only artistic expression but also a way to connect with community and tradition. Food culture. Japanese cuisine is not only about eating, but also about presentation, balance, and tradition. The main ingredients include rice, fish, seafood, vegetable, and soy-based products such as tofu and soy sauce. Some popular dishes are sushi, ramen, tempura, and bento. Food in Japan is carefully prepared to be healthy and aesthetic. In this culture, food is considered an art, not just a necessity. Traditional dishes. Japanese cuisine includes iconic dishes such as sushi, ramen, tempura, and bento. Sushi is typically made with vinegary rice, whereas fish like tuna or salmon and seaweed. Ramen consists of wheat noodles served in broth, often flavored with soy sauce or miso, and soup with pork, eggs, and vegetables. Tempura includes seafood or vegetable coated in a light butter and deep fried. Bento boxes offer a variety of small portions such as rice, fish, pickled vegetables, and meat, reflecting balance and variety in one meal. Presentation Presentation and aesthetics. In Japanese cuisine, presentation is as important as taste. Dishes are carefully arranged to reflect nature, seasons, and color harmony. For example, a bento box is organized with different sections to create visual balance, while sushi is shaped precisely to be visually appealing. Chefs often use natural elements like leaf or ceramic plates to enhance the aesthetic experience. This attention to detail transforms food into an art form where each dish is designed to be enjoyed visually before tasting. Fresh and seasonal. A key principle in Japanese cooking is the use of fresh and seasonal ingredients, known as shun. Meals often include fish, seafood, rice, and vegetables that they pick flavor. For instance, sashimi highlights the natural taste of raw without cooking, emphasizing freshness. Seasonal vegetables like bamboo shoots in a spring or mushroom in autumn are commonly used. Balanced and healthy. Japanese meals are typically designed to be nutritious and balanced following the concept of Ichugi Sansai. A traditional meal may include rice, miso soup, grilled fish, and vegetable side dishes. Ingredients such as seaweed, tofu, fish, and fermented products like miso provide essential nutrients. Traditional clothings. Oh, no. Now, anyone can can you have any questions?
And thank you for your presentation. It's very interesting and informative. And I have a question for you. Eh, why is Japanese cultural effective for language learning?
Oh, Japanese culture is effective for language learning because it provides meaningful, engages Japanese culture is effective for language learning because it provides meaningful and engaging content for students. For example, elements like anime and food make lessons for more relatable and interesting. In my opinion, when students feel motivated, they participate more actively and retain information better. Additionally, culture helps learners understand how language is used in real life situations. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question too. How do cultural practice influence communication in Japan?
Okay, cultural practice in Japan strongly influence communication by emphasizing respect and social hierarchy. For instance, bowing and the use of polite language show how important relationships are in communication. From my perspective, teaches learners that language is not only about words but also about behavior and context.
Okay, Andres, I have a question for you, and it is what role does food play in Japanese culture?
Okay, food plays a very important role in Japanese culture as it reflects values such as balance, aesthetics, and traditions. Meals are carefully prepared using fresh and seasonal ingredients, which shows respect for nature. In my opinion, food is not just about nutrition, but also cultural identity. For example, dishes like sushi and bento represent both tradition and creativity. This makes food a powerful way to explore and understand culture.
Hi, partner. My question for you is what challenge might students face when learning about Japanese culture?
Okay, students may face challenges such as understanding different social norms and communication styles. For example, the concept of indirect communication in Japan can be difficult for learners who are used to being more direct. In my opinion, the writing system can also be challenges due to the use of three different scripts. However, these difficulties can be overcome with practices and cultural exposure. In the end, these challenges also made the learning process more interesting and rewarding. Thank you so much.
Okay, Andres, thank you so much for your presentation. So now we continue with Luz Clairet.
One moment, please. Can you see my screen? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Pedro Sanchez, and I'm going to present Mexican culture and the Spanish language as a multicultural approach to language teaching. This presentation explores how integrating cultural into language learning can create meaningful and engaging experiences for students. Mexico has a rich and diverse cultural and combines indigenous tradition with Spanish colonial influences. This cultural diversity is reflected in its traditions, food, language, and social values. By integrating these cultural elements into the classroom, students can learn Spanish in a more meaningful and contextualized way. Mexican culture is widely recognized around the world, especially through food, music, and celebrations. Many students are already familiar with these elements, which makes learning more engaging. Also, when students feel emotionally connected to the content, their motivation increases and learning becomes more effective. One important Mexican tradition is Day of the Dead, a celebration that honors deceased loved ones. People create altars with offerings such as food, flowers, and personal objects. In the classroom, students can describe these elements, learn vocabulary related to family and emotions, and compare this tradition with her own culture. And Mexican music, especially mariachi and popular songs, plays an important role in cultural expressions. Music helps students learn vocabulary and pronunciation in a natural and enjoyable way. Teachers can use songs to analyze lyrics, practice speaking, and discuss cultural themes like love and identity. Mexican culture emphasizes strong family relationships, respect, and community values. These values influence how people communicate and interact. In the classrooms, students can analyze how these cultural aspects shape communication styles and social behavior. Okay, the language use is Mexican Spanish reflects social relationships and cultural values. For example, people use usted to show respect and tú in informal situation. Also, Mexican Spanish includes many unique expressions like que onda, órale, no manches, which shows identity and informality. By practicing this difference in class, students learn how to communicate appropriately in real context and develop intercultural competence. And your gastronomy is an important cultural element recognized worldwide. Food reflects history, geography, and cultural identity. In class, students can learn food vocabulary, describe recipes, and compare eating habits from different cultures. Mexican culture contributes to multiculturalism by combining different cultural influences. This helps students develop a broader perspective and understand cultural diversity and language learning. Cultural practice and values directly influence how language is used. For example, politeness,
respect, and social roles as affect communication. Understanding these aspects help students communicate more effectively in real life situations. And integrating multicultural perspectives in language teaching is very important because promotes empathy, critical thinking, and respect for other cultures. It also prepares students to communicate in a globalized world. Finally, teaching Spanish through Mexican culture goes beyond grammar and vocabulary. It creates meaningful learning experiences and helps students develop intercultural competence. And finally, reflection, students don't just learn the language, they connect it with the culture. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Luz Claria. I have a question for you. Um, what difference do you notice between Mexican food and the food from your region?
Okay, Lisa, thank you for your question. In my opinion, Mexican food has more intensive flavors and using ingredients like chili pepper, corn, and spices. In contrast, in the food from my region is simpler and use different local ingredients and different preparation methods.
Thank you.
Okay, Luz Clairet, I have a question. How does Mexican culture contribute to multiculturalism in language education?
Okay. And from my perspective, Mexican culture promotes multiculturalism because it combines indigenous and Spanish influences. This helps students understand diversity and different cultural perspectives.
Okay, I was thinking, and it's my question for you. What is important to integrate cultures when teaching a new language?
Okay, thank you for your question. I believe that culture is essential in language learning because language and culture are connected. Without culture, communication can be incompletely or understood.
Okay, Luz, to finish with your presentation, I have a question, and it is, how can cultural awareness improve communication?
Okay. In my opinion, cultural awareness improves communication because it helps us understand values and social norms. This allows us to communicate more effectively and effectively.
Okay, thank you, Luz. Thank you so much. So now is the turn for Luisa.
Yes, let me share my screen. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes, we can see.
And now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to talk about France, its culture, and its language. I hope you find this topic interesting because France is a very influential country around the world. Excuse me if I sound bad. I am a little sick. Okay. Well, France is a country local in Western Europe. Its capital city is Paris, one of the most famous cities in the world. When people think about France, they usually imagine the Eiffel Tower, romantic streets, small cafes, and beautiful architecture. But France is also known for its story and its influence art and literature, architecture, and culture. Well, location. France is surrounded by countries such as Spain, Italy, Germany, and Belgium. It also has access to the Atlantic Ocean. Because of its location, France is an important country for tourists and cultural exchange. It connects different culture in Europe. Okay, well, general characteristics. French is a population of around 68 million people. The official language is French, and the currency is the euro. It is a strong country in Europe with an important role in economy, political, and culture. Well, culture and tourism. France is one of the most visited countries in the world. People visit it to see monuments, museums, and historical places. Uh, Paris is especially known for fashion, luxury, and elegance. When people think of France, they usually think of romance, art, and culture. These elements make the country very, very special. Well, about art and literature. France has made very important contribution to art and literature. In art, one of famous painter is Claude Monet, who was part of Impressionism. This movement focused on light, colors, and everyday essence. For example, he painted gardens, water lilies, soft and beautiful ways. Well, another important award is Liberty Landed the People by Eugene de Cloris. This painting represented the revelation and show a woman symbolizing liberty and get people forward. It is a powerful image, is that um of freedom and struggle, and it represents the identity of France. Uh, okay, gastronomy. I well, one of the most exciting aspects of France it is gastronomy, and it is my favorite part. French food is famous all over the world for its quality, tradition, and variety. Some typical food include baguettes, different types of cheese, um, croissant, and dessert like macarons and eclairs. French cuisine is also known for its technique and presentation. Food is carefully prepared and beautifully served. In France, food is not only about eating, but also about enjoy the moment. Um, well, so people usually eat slow, share meals with family or friends, and talk during meals. For this reason, the gastronomy is a very important part of French about culture and identify. Okay, a language and learning. French is an international. I'm so sorry. um, French is an international language spoken in many countries. French people are very proud of their language. They try to protect it and avoid too much influence from other language, especially English. For example, in French, there are institutions that regulate and protect the French language. Learning French helps students to communicate with different cultures and opens opportunity in education and work. Okay. Well, a culture importance in education. Learning about French culture helps students understand diversity. It um, It teaches respect for other traditions and ways of thinking. It also helps students develop intercultural communication skills. And this is very important in today's global world. Well, finally, I choose France because it is a very interesting and influential country. What I like the most is gastronomy, but I also find very interesting its art and culture. And I think it's important to learn about countries like France because it helps us to understand world better. And this is all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Luisa, for your presentation. And I have a question for you. You mentioned that food is motivating way to the cultural, and how can teachers use gastronomy to increase students' engagement and meaningful learning?
Okay. I think that teachers can use gastronomy by introduce typical foods, recipes, or cultural traditional related to food. And this make learning more interesting and interactive because students can relate to real life experience.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Luisa, I have a question. Why is French considered important in art and literature?
French is important because it has influenced art and literature for many years. For example, painters like Claude Monet and artworks like Liberty Leading to People by Eugene de Cloris and are very famous. In literature, writers like Victor Hugo have created important works that tell about society and human emotions.
Okay, Luisa, I love when it is gastronomy too. But my question for you is, how can learning French help the students in the future?
Well, learning French can help the students communicate with people from different countries. It got also open opportunities in education, travel, and work.
Okay, Luisa, the last question. What makes French culture unique compared, obviously, to other countries?
Well, French culture is unique because of its strong tradition in art, gastronomy, and language. People in French are very proud of their culture and try to protect it, especially their language. And also their way of enjoy food, art, and daily life makes their culture very special. Thank you.
Okay, Lisa, thank you so much for your presentation. So now, the last but not the least, we continue with our partner, and it is Johan Hernandez.
Thank you, partner. Today I'm going to talk about the current culture and language, and my partner can help me. Okay, and next, please. Next, for talk about introduction. Okay, multicultural is language teaching helps students understanding and respect different cultures. It improves communication, skill, and promotes global awareness. In Korean, culture is used as example in this project. Can next, please? Is easy. Intercultural communicate competence is the ability to communicate effectively with people from different cultures. One example is in Korea, people bow to show respect, especially to elders. Next, please. And language and culture are connected. Learning and language also mean understanding traditions and social norms. Example, Korean has formal and informal speech spending or Spain. Next, please. Okay, in the multiculturalism versus interculturals. The multiculturals is coexist of cultures, and interculturals is interaction between cultures. One example are students compare Korean culture with their own. And for the next, I love this part because the Korean culture is maybe you listen K-pop in one moment in your life. Maybe one example is BTS, Blackpink, and the food is made delicious because the kimchi and ramen. In traditions, um, Handbook and Choset is one tradition about it. One movie can you maybe you watch it? It's the Huntress. Is one animation so special and beautiful. And for my conclusion is the next. Integrating culture into language teaching plays a key role in helping students develop meaningful communication skills since learning a language goes beyond grammar and vocabulary and involves understanding values. These traditions in social behaviors, this connection allows learning to become more respectful, um, maybe as elements like K-pop, traditional custom, and the choral language systems can increase motivation and make learning more engaging. At the same time, encourage students to compare their own with others at the same time, and it's compare my culture with them. So in this part, interact effectively with people from different culture background is one experience for everyone to change the mind and change the way to learn. This is all. Thank you very much.
Okay, Johan, this was a great presentation. I have a question for you. How does multiculturalism help students learn languages?
Okay, partner. Cultural diversity helps students understand and respect different cultures while learning a language. It is improving communication skills because students learn how people from different backgrounds interact. So this is all. Uh, Anyone more questions?
Yes, and Johan, what is intercultural communicative competence and why it is so important?
The ability to communicate with people from different cultures means understanding not only the language, but also cultural behaviors and norms. It is important because communication is more than just words. For example, in Korea, people show respect by bowing. It's one way to do the things, and which is a part of it communication.
Thank you.
You're
I have
welcome.
a question too.
Yeah.
Why are language and culture connected with learning a new language?
Language and culture are connected because language reflects the traditions, beliefs, and social norms of society. When learning a new language, students also learn how people spread respect, emotions, and relations. This connection helps learners communicate more properly and understand the real meaning behind words and expression is one thing real to to learn.
Okay, Johan, thank you so much for your presentation. Guys, and do you have anything to say about today's presentation? What do you think about our presentation for each one? Do you want to say something?
Yes, in my opinion, cultural based activities make language learning more meaningful because the students connected emotionally with the content.
Okay, thank you, Luz.
Okay, me. From my perspective, it is important to consider how cultural practices and values influence language learning and communication. This helps me understand the close relationship between language and culture. Additionally, I reflect on the importance of integrating multicultural perspective into the classroom, since this approach enhances intercultural awareness and enriches the learning experience. That's it for me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Andres. Thank you so much.
Well, for my part, I can say that that was very enjoy because we can listen and learning more about other cultures. That was very nice.
Thank you, Luisa. And Johan?
Uh, for for my point of view, I think the traditions and cultures teach us the way to learn a different way. Maybe you learn with music, we dance, and this is the way you learn many things about way different ways. So it's my point of view.
Okay, thank you so much, Johan. Okay, guys, so in conclusion, maybe I think that as a future language educators, teachers, our mission is maybe to create global citizens who can navigate this multicultural world with respect and also with sensibility. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Johan. Thank you, Luis Claidet, and also Luisa, for this amazing exchange. Now I will now stop the recording, and I think that this has been a truly enriching experience for all of us. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
It was a
Good
pleasure.
day.
Thank you.
Thank you.